Dun 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 dun, episode 12, season 1 finale, season 2 confirmation as well. Always great things, although we already knew that because of leaks and stuff from before the series even had its first episode, so we're kind of aware. I'm very excited to get into this, to wrap this up. I am actually not sad about it. Typically, you know, you get sad when you're really loving a series and it kind of comes to an end, that there's going to be no more of it, but I kind of think that it's like the way that the series is kind of structured, almost like it feels good to have it in like smaller doses for me, as opposed to like going like all the way straight through and just watching episode after episode. It's weirdly one of those series for me that I kind of like to like pace myself a little bit better with, and I'm enjoying it a ton more as a result of that. So pretty cool up to this point. Loving a whole bunch about it. We'll talk about more of that stuff a little bit later. Where we left off is Gigi has been involved and he is an interesting guy. I don't really love him, but I don't really hate him. It's kind of just my mood of the day. It feels like he might kind of alter the way that my experiences with this, so we'll have to end up seeing I guess how he just continues to progress, and if I continue to like him, especially throughout the end of this episode. We had the random anatomy dude at the end who ends up having one of our nuts, and we need him, so that's big. But what is he gonna do? Are we gonna have to actually fight him, or are we just gonna be able to get it from him because he ends up meeting his lover in this junkyard, like, and he's just chilled out, he doesn't even need it? Like, is he gonna put up a fight for it? What's gonna happen? I don't really know. Is something else gonna come in and consume them, and then we're gonna have to go up against that? We still have the whole incident with Gigi and going to the home that he ended up moving to, and the ghosts, and dealing with all of that stuff too, which I don't believe will end up happening throughout this season. I said that last week, but I still just don't think that they have time to fit in a full like arc, especially involving like a character like him within a single episode here. So we probably gotta wait on that, but we'll end up seeing how they decide to develop this. Hopefully you enjoy. If you like it all, like and subscribe. You want me, feel free to stick around for the discussion. After the discussion of this episode, I'll talk about the whole season as a whole. Not too in depth, nothing too crazy, but just some thoughts and opinions, things I liked, and all the good stuff. If you want to skip to that, timestamp in the description. If not, just stick around and wait for it to come up. Hopefully you enjoy. Let's get going with the season 1 finale of Dun Dun Dun, episode 12. Not again. Oh my god. We're just building a home of oddities. Oh yeah, good question. Did we get the ball? I can return back to my position in my life. And the woman I love is safe. You didn't see the heart-wrenching love story that we had to go through. Oh my god. Didn't know you were capable of all that. Yeah, I bet he feels way more confident in it now. You probably do. The fact that you can even see them. You didn't rely on me with the strength stuff? Oh. There's nothing in your hand. There was nothing in your hand. Just run up to her and be like, help, there's something in mine. Right, oh, that is right. We are building the confession. Thank you, brother. Why wasn't it as smooth as his? Against what force? Look at him, boxed you up, kid. What are you gonna do now? Oh shit, he's countering. told you to put it at the table and you're being stupid. Where did the table go? Oh yeah, you're gonna get filled in. Alright, I'll be there. If that means he'll go away quicker, I'm there.
なわけないじゃん。オカルン誘うつもりだったよ。うち一人じゃ不安だしさ。だったらさっさとやっちゃいましょう。
Let's get him out of here. Yes. Damn, guess bro really doesn't like Gigi, huh?
やば、夜の学校超怖い。
勝手に入るのやばくない？大丈夫だって。こっくりさんやるだけだし。
Yeah, we're just gonna do that. Nothing crazy.
ちょっと待って、何か聞こえない？
やめてよ、そういうの。
嘘、マジで？やだよ、やだ。邪魔だ、どけー。
He could have just ran there. He took the trade. No, brother, no. You got Isekai. No. She is a mess. Stay warm.
大丈夫。あいつが来るまで一緒に待ってる。
Aw.
きっと来るからさ。
Aw. Okay, but how did he get put back together when he got torn apart before?
すまん花、遅くなった。
太郎、大好き。
Cinema. Wow, 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 wow. In the middle of the yard. Oh, brother's going through it. Oh, that's really cool. So I guess we are gonna resolve all of this here. I really didn't think we were gonna do it this episode.
あそこの駄菓子屋まだあんの感動したわ。
あそこのおばあちゃんずっと変わんないもんね。
はい、お釣り50万。
they got so much that they can relate on and catch up on. What do I have?
なんか嫌だ。こんなことを思って。
Where are the oculate conversations?
小ささにうんざりする。
Mm.
でもこの気持ちはどうしようもないんだ。なんとか気を紛らわせないと。金玉を取り戻すことに集中するんだ。
Okay, settled.
いつから下ネタ流行ってんの？
違う違う。
He's literally got one right now.
じゃあ俺は違うやつ流行らすわ。股関節。綾瀬さんの興味の主導権を奪うしかない。
You're overthinking it, brother. There you go.
その生き物なんかじゃありません。実際約100年前まではゴリラだってユーマだったんです。で神社が大蛇を祀ってるらしくて、土の子神社って呼ばれてる
Oh,
の。
Wonder why. Yeah, that might help us a little bit.
しゃねえな。俺から離れるなよ。
I hate how they draw him sometimes.
を祀ってる神社もありますから、ユーマを祀る神社自体はそんな珍しくないです。 どうだ、ユーマ神社説返し。
Oh, we actually have something like that. Alright.
じゃあカッパいるってことじゃん。待って、じゃあネッシーは？
Oh, we know about that.
俺はいると思ってんのよ。見たいから。ネッシーの写真は外科医の写真と呼ばれていて、あれはフェイクだということが分かった。
Yeah, look, they're friends though.
この目で見ました。
Got their minds off of it.
俺も見たい。俺そういえば初めてだ。綾瀬さん以外でこんなに喋れる人。
He's a good dude. Yeah, you're worried about all the wrong things. Aww. If you're one of our friends, you're one of mine.
すいません。 自分不器
No,
用
no, no, you chill.
それ言うなって言ってんだろ。
何それなんで
ちょいちょいちょい
Looks like a nice place.
ちょっと温泉地じゃない
Wow, this shit looks dope.
親父の仕事の関係でね
Oh.
お父さん先生じゃなかったっけ。
近くの大学で
Isn't he a teacher? What the fuck does he have to do with hospitals?
かとか大丈夫なの。
I have a feeling it might. Maybe not today, but
ってるみたいだけどそっからずっと落ち着いてるみたい
へえ。
Jesus. Holy fuck. Creepy ass village. I feel this. I hate stairs too. Okay. Oh, how many? Take a, take a water break, a snack break, take something.
カッチカッチ
Bro could have carried them up there, if we're being honest. Yeah, nice place you got here.
どうモモなんか変なオーラとか見える
She can't even look
あ
up.
んたどんだけ体力あんだよ。
I mean, if he's gonna walk it every day.
待ってください綾瀬さん
Oh shit.
オカルも
Bro's gonna get sniped from the bushes. Oh no, they're lurking. New people coming into our town. Yeah, so it's the village itself. It's not the home.
うーん。
It's on TV.
手についた
うちなんです。
なんだびっくりしたなんでいきなりテレビつけるんですか
だって暇なんだ
The
もん。
fuck else am I gonna
なん
do?
もいないし。
Invalidates all his feelings. You're gonna say he's lying?
え俺のこと疑ってんの
違うって。霊媒師が来た時はやばいって言ってたんでしょ。うちの予想だけどさ、今幽霊ちゃん隠れてんじゃね。
They're just lurking.
ターボババアの時もそうだったけど、霊の力が弱いとこっちも気づきづらくてさ、まんまと隠れられちゃうんだよね。つまりはさ、楽勝っぽくね。
We wait for the losers to come out the shadows.
飲みたいの甘いやつ。
大至急ご用意いたしやす
You don't even have to take advantage of this full situation either. He would have just done that normally.
座りな。
Right here. And it's a wonderful thing until Gigi takes the seat next to
ど
her.
うせ夜になったらしれっと出てくんだから、休めるときに休んどこ。
はい。
というわけで温泉街行ってきます。
もしかして温泉行きたいから幽霊いない
There's potential for that.
やってください。
Can they
本
come?
当に行くんですか霊が出てきたらどうするんです
Yeah, I'll be back.
夕方には帰ってくるから。行ってきま
Ashley's gonna get interrupted.
ーす。
Yay.
甘いジュースを持ってきましたあれ綾瀬さん温泉街に行っちゃいましたマジ俺も一緒に行きたかった
That actually would be fun if we just get a full-on moment between the two of them here. Yeah, sure.
一回トラップしてそうそううまいうまいそのままこっち蹴ってみ
See, Gigi just actually just seemed like a pretty good dude.
モモのこと好き
Yes. I can tell.
二人とも仲良くしてるかな。オカルは初めての
First, like, was I making it that happy?
だったね、オカル。
モモ可愛いもんね自分は綾瀬さんが初めての
They're lurking after
尊
her.
敬してますし大切な人です
Just detect the aura.
俺はモモの顔も性格もめっちゃ好き自分だって
Awesome.
え
Really?
尊敬って言ったの
Hold on.
尊敬ってことですよ
Yeah, on top of that.
それそれじゃあ俺それプラスモモの目好きはい俺の勝ちの
It's
じゃあ
tough.
自分はそれプラス口好きですはい自分の勝ち俺モモの幼なじみ
Yeah, but then you should know how that goes. Oh, you could use this.
何が適当に勝ちって言っちゃダメだから
But she might not appreciate it if you know. See, I thought they were gonna get attacked while she was gone.
壁が高くて景色見れな
Gonna be
か
the
ったのが
opposite.
残念だったかな。
Classic.
すごいぜオカル。友情握手しようぜ。
As friends, we will not let a girl get between us.
もらったおら。
Never mind.
こんな辛いの綾瀬さんは絶対嫌いですか。負けを認めなさいオカル。諦めてた。
It's just the stupid shit that's going on here versus what's going on with her. She put out a flare somehow. Does she have an ability?
あそこおかしくないですか。
Oh.
両親がああなった原因が。
お姉ちゃん、ワニって知ってる？
ワニってあのトカゲみたいなやつですか？
I want to say yes, but I feel like no.
違う違う。
Okay.
混浴の温泉によく出没して。
Oh, did not know there was a term for that.
奴らのことっす。
Break this bitch down. We got all over to save. Oh my god.
狼の群れは
Oh, the
リーダーを
seals.
倒せばチリチリになるって聞いたことあるけど。
Which one's the leader? Holy. They're gonna cut it? And a wrap on the first season here. We end ourselves in a weird spot, interesting spot, cliffhanger. And I'm not sure, I guess I'll talk myself through this here. I'm not sure exactly how to feel on, say, that. For example, I feel like a lot of series typically will find yourself in a really good position to be like, this is like where we're going to end. And then it kind of still like has a hint towards where you're going, or like it cliffhangs you on like we're headed towards this direction, or we're going to go do this next. But usually not like in the middle, unresolved completely on things. Like there's a stopping point typically, whereas this feels dead in the middle of like arc type of thing, right? Like it doesn't feel as fitting, I guess, as you typically would get. So my mind goes to like a few different directions where I think like with the immediate confirmation of there being another season and when it's coming, it makes that feel a little bit like relieved for the series as a whole. I no longer like have this like, oh, that makes like, why would they do that? Like, I hate that they did that. This is like a terrible, like, I feel okay with the decision solely because of that. I think I feel a little bit more weird about the decision on a technicality of the season being advertised as a second season as opposed to a continuation of the first one, due to us having like the literal like arc that we're in the first one still continuing into the second one, you know, like that in itself feels a little weird to me. Not that it matters much, but I think I would just feel like a little bit better on that front if we ended up doing that, or if they advanced it maybe 13 episodes and we ended up getting those all packed up nicely into this and maybe start something new. That's assuming it ends in one more episode, that would be, but I don't know that either. But I don't have a problem necessarily at all with it, and I think that it works as a way to make you want to sit there and be like, what's the purpose of a cliffhanger? And it's to make you like excited, anticipate the things that are coming next, to make you want to come back and see what happens, right? And that's exactly kind of what this scenario does by leaving things unresolved. So it works perfectly if you want to view it exactly from that lens. But I do think on a reflective state of the entirety season as a whole, which we'll get into after we talk about this episode specifically, it is not a great choice if you were to separate each of them, because then you're leaving things completely unresolved in its entirety if you take it for what it is. Because while you leave us in a state of, yes, I want to go and I want to view more, for the people who will not return, do not get a resolution at any point, it's not one of those states that leave you like intrigued to want to come back and see what happens next, but you can leave it at like a stopping point. It's like I have to see what happens next, as opposed to like I can't consume this as a season in its entirety. So it's like it's a little weird, I think, the way that it goes, and I'm not really used to a lot of series doing something like that. Typically, a lot of them would end with like say the arc ends in a direction where we end up getting through and we end up saving Momo here, and then we ended up discovering like where the ball could be, or like how we could go find it or something. Cool. Now that leaves us a direction where we're going to head going forward into the future, on top of having a strong resolution, and everybody can kind of be content where you either want to stop now, or you can be excited because you now have a direction or a understanding of where you're going to be headed going a little bit forward. So I think there's like different levels to it, and it just depends on what you like, and that's what most other series typically would do. So that's why it's a little bit of an oddball for them to willingly choose to do so here. But I guess we'll see. I mean, there's no real complaint on my part with that, just strictly due to the fact that we do get confirmation right away, and it leaves me not in a state of like being upset that I don't know if I'm gonna have to sit around and wait forever to get the answers that I kind of want to have, because I don't necessarily think it does a good job at leaving you in a spot where it makes me say I can't wait to see what happens in the 13th episode, which will come out in the summer, right? I think it more so puts you in a spot of I want to go read the manga and just see and conclude where this ends. Whereas if they were to wrap this arc up here and then hint towards directions of where we're going in the future, I'd be content just sitting around and waiting and wanting to see exactly what's going to happen within the anime itself. While I get that, this is used as a device to sell more manga and everything too, so it does succeed in certain ways like that too, but I just viewing it from different lenses, I think like wrapped up into a season in its whole, it's a very weird spot for it to kind of conclude, in my opinion. For the second time, we have to take somebody else in. All the oddballs, of course, find their way in here. I love how he's just chill. He's got his day job. He's got his family to support. He's got to do this, but he'll come meet up with her in the middle of the day when he's got time. Put out the table. The entirety of the episode focuses strongly around the dynamic between Gigi and Ken's feelings towards Momo, kind of, and Ken's internal conflicts that he's going to consistently go through on being the person that he's not, and also not understanding that Momo likes the person that he is currently and not the person that he thinks he needs to become. So it's a little sad to see, but as somebody who wouldn't have confidence like ever and struggles in social scenarios and not having like friends and everything, you can kind of pick up in the pieces here and realize like why he would feel inferior in certain ways and why he would feel he needs to kind of alter that to stay on like the good side, and for her to not get like kind of bored and want to do away with him at any point. And the episode also does a really good job, I think, at displaying just the dynamic between Gigi and Ken and how they're going to continuously like play off of each other, I think, going forward, which is pretty cool. And it gives us different sides, especially during like the soccer scene, I think, where we get to see Gigi doesn't seem to overall be too bad of a person, and he seems to be pretty cool, and also just wanting to like simply be his friend and maybe not viewing Momo in that sort of way. Well, he ends up actually feeling that way, and we get to find that out more later. He isn't like completely clouded or blinded by this, that it's like interrupting everything or dictating everything that he kind of does, whereas it is when it comes to like somebody like Ken, and every decision and thing that he's kind of making and doing is like viewed as like a rival in love and like all this other stuff and how he can change and all that, whereas Gigi just kind of seems like he's just trying to be a good dude overall, and then in the background he's got his own feelings and things that he's trying to work out when it comes to Momo. Bro, running through at the school, insane, of course. Something about like shots like this, it's happened in like so many other series over the years, but just like something about people like going up above the moon here is always so good. And bro got hit by a car, can't believe it. You got used to kind. And I was wondering, I was like, I could have sworn he put himself back together after he got destroyed before, which we get to say. I love Momo being completely a mess here, but it's so sweet how she's supporting them and she's gonna stick around with her so she doesn't have to stay out in the cold all night by herself. Lovely. And he makes it. He's a little late, but that's perfectly okay. He'll be back every day going forward. This is a really great sequence, I think. The struggle to be displayed for Gigi and his issues that he goes through, and the constant like visions and sights and stuff that he has, and what he's kind of come across constantly, taking his family and like everything else that he's kind of had to run into. Some fun moments between them. How can I get her attention? How can I make her focus a little bit more on me? While she's sitting directly next to him laughing, they on the same page, they get things completely. Like he understands her at a level that I really don't, because they've had this relationship for a longer time. A constant struggle that he goes through. But we end up finding out somebody just takes general interest in the same things that he does. And they just want to be friends. So cute. And here we go. We arrive at the town. Pretty cool. I will say it happens a couple times with different series where some of the backgrounds, they don't look too bad here. But we get it a little bit later, like when they're in front of the house and of the house and stuff, where the backgrounds don't blend too well with the characters kind of being in them. And it just makes it like the immersion that I have struggles. And it happens a lot in other series. And I feel like I haven't really ran into that this series, except for during that scene towards the end of this episode, which is a little unfortunate. But it is just something to note. Everybody looking like this is fucking insane to me. Little hints towards what is likely to come going up the stairs. I hate motherfuckers like this. I'm so bad with that. I can't do it. I can't do stairs. I used to have a class that I had to go through that was on like the fourth floor, I think. And it was like a winding kind of staircase that I had to go up. And I'd go up like 2 and I'd just stop and take a break. My cardio is that's not there at all. And just stop for a couple seconds, take a sip of water. I'd be out of breath, especially if you do it and it's like very hot outside. Like temperatures aren't too great either. You're just sweating your ass off before you can even get up there. Holy fuck! It'd be like 80 degrees someday. I'm just dying. Terrible. And look at them just lurking in the shadows. Of course. I wonder if it's just something to do with like people coming into their own town and trying to keep outsiders and other people kind of away, or potentially what exactly it is. I don't know. Here we are in the house. There's nothing here, and she uses this fully to her advantage to get him to do everything that she kind of wants. Although either of them probably would have done it if you asked at any other point. I love how she tells him to sit, and the moment he sits, she gets up. Get comfortable. I'm gonna go. Here we go. We're just playing some soccer. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like this. Something about it, like the way that it visually looks on my eyes, the characters just don't blend too well with the scene. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a me thing, though. I don't know. I don't really know. And I like how she's constantly just worried about how they're getting along, and it's just fighting over and over with her. It's so stupid. But a nice showcase a little bit of what their dynamic will likely be a bit going forward. And I thought that they were going to get targeted the whole time, but instead it ends up being her. This is a classic scenario that typically end up getting to see kind of occur. And everything goes bad. That is a criticism I think I will have overall about the series, is the amount of scenes that are kind of like this that we got. We already got the first one, and then we have a couple where like stripping and things end up having to be involved, and then we get like another creepy one that happens like this with potential assault and other things occurring. And I kind of get the idea that it's going to be a continuous thing that we get throughout the series, and I'm not like off-put entirely by any of that. But yeah, there's been a couple different scenarios now with it, and I don't know. I fear that it's going to be consistently repetitive of the type of scenes and the things that we get, and the way that we depict a lot of these things to happen. And in a series that is largely creative with like almost everything that it does and extremely out the box, I would kind of hope that maybe we could be a little bit more when it comes to other scenes that don't have to really involve all of this. So I don't know. It'll be interesting, I think, a bit to go forward. But they find out the excess room kind of added on to it, and we kind of have to break through and figure out what the fuck is going on until they find this. And these are all like different like seals and stuff, right? That are all just like put within this room. Or are they all just like different curses? Is that what it is? I don't exactly know, but it is a big moment, especially here. And you go in and the entire room is covered in it. But I don't know exactly what that means. That's where maybe my potential supernatural knowledge and things is like completely useless here, of not having any. It's I don't know. Is it? I thought that these are put up as ways to kind of keep things out, and maybe they are, but it's entirely boxed up into a room that's in here. So everything that's kind of just within this area can't get in. That's why they're able to roam vastly throughout the entire city. Or is it something that's causing like a spawning of them to occur instead? I don't know. And we cut it right there. Nothing too crazy for us as an episode, but does a good job at expanding on Gigi a little bit more, and the overall relationship and dynamic that him and Ken are going to have, and also the feelings and stuff that each of them have coming to life a little bit more and being realized, and fully just setting up, I guess, likely what we are headed into next. So we'll end up having to see that. So with the series as a whole, we will speak on now. I think it is really, really, really excellent. Might need a little bit more time to reflect on it, as I think I was feeling a certain way prior to the episode and like up all the episodes leading up to this, like on how I overall felt. And while I still do, I think some of it has definitely calmed down the more that I'm like thinking now and really trying to reflect on some of where we've been and what highlights and things for me have been. But I still think it's really quality. Besides that, I think from a animation front, it is extremely stellar all around, while still having episodes that you can definitely see are like less of probably a priority for them. It still is extremely strong, and there's a lot of just different creative and intriguing things that they do. I think that the comedy all around was pretty strong, while having definitely moments that aren't maybe suited towards my taste, or characters that come in, with Gigi being one of them, not necessarily being up to my taste either. Still do a really good job at even turning subjects and things that I typically don't find to be very funny into funny moments too, which is always really nice, and giving a certain sort of like tone and goofiness to the series as a whole that allows me to not have to like feel like I'm taking things overly serious, but at the same time doing a really good job at tone switching things and having special moments like episode 7, or just even other moments where they had to get like a little bit serious here, where they're able to do so, and it kind of almost immediately is like recognizable by the viewer of like, this isn't like a joking thing anymore. Now it's like kind of focus up and be serious for the few little moments that we've had about that, which I think has been really good. One of my favorite things, highlight throughout the entirety of it, is definitely the characters' dynamics themselves, but mainly of our main two, I think is extremely well. I think the subtle little things about forming a relationship and potentially romantic interest in somebody else in the initial struggle, especially going through for the first time, has been displayed in a really strong kind of way. Implementing of having like friends and people kind of involved with Momo's friends, I think is really good too. It's a feature that typically gets really underutilized, where people don't want to talk about their feelings or their relationship or anything, and like display that kind of stuff and want to hide things from them around them. So I like when we have other people kind of like in on it and fully okay with it and still supportive of you. I think is really awesome stuff that doesn't get shown off enough. But also just the general like two people who are potentially from different worlds entirely here basically take up general and similar interests, and maybe a one-time like occurrence of them just kind of getting angry or going out of your way and doing like one nice thing that Momo does to start off the first episode ends up going this long way and creating the entirety of this relationship that they're going to continuously have. I think is really cool stuff. It created some of the cutest, some of the funniest, and just best moments overall throughout the season for me. I think even like when we got up to like, I think it was episode 4 or 5, I think it was episode 5, they had like an entire episode that was just dedicated to the struggle that the two of them were going to have, like kind of being around each other and still being content with that after the big first arc that they kind of had to go through. And it was like one of the best things that we had throughout the entirety of it. It's just like little moments and things between the characters that make everything so special for this, and everything else that we get from the action to the supernatural things and everything occurring is all just like extra stuff added on top of what is already like a really strong starting point for us to have. I think overall character design is really strong throughout this too. Just really intriguing to look at people who I think I give a lot of credit to a lot of series all the time who constantly have different outfits and changing and stuff between characters. It's something that typical shonens, battle shonens that is, don't like to do, and they like to just keep one outfit for the entirety of it because it's way easier on them to do with all the action and everything that they have by giving people just like uniforms or something. But I love the amount of like home life that we get between everybody and having like the constant changes of that. It gives so much more personality and depth to these characters. It lets you really see who they are, lets you see their own stylistic choices and the things that they have. I mean, even just looking at Ken and the way that his hair kind of evolved, there are all these 12 episodes too. It's just, there's a variety of things that you can do to add a little bit more personality to what's happening on screen for you. And I think that's really special and shouldn't go unrecognized at all throughout this. The coloring of a lot of the different scenes too was really strong. Something that I constantly noticed by graying out a bunch of stuff or by making things an extremely strong or like certain color, just so that you can contrast it with something else when you have like a certain impactful moment and thing occurring, I think is really awesome. And they did an excellent job of that. The different moments that they had to use CG throughout this, that at least I was aware of and I saw, looked pretty good to me. There was nothing that I was like particularly angry or upset about. I thought it all looked really good and blended itself pretty fucking nicely. So no complaints on that either. Momo and Ken are just great characters all around, absolutely adorable. Love each of them. They bring so much life to everything that's happening, like I said, and they're what makes the series so good. Aira being introduced was fantastic. I think she's a great addition to the squad. She's kind of goofy. She's pretty stupid for what it is, but I can't bring myself to really hate her. I think she's extremely entertaining when she's on screen. Turbo Granny was a great addition too, just to have her in the background. I hope she continuously gets to be utilized a little bit more, as she kind of is like fizzled out after a certain amount of episodes here. So hopefully we can bring her back into the fold a little bit more. The grandma is pretty cool for her own additions that we have, although she's pretty useless for a lot of the stuff that we have because she's kind of restricted in her area, which is a nice thing, I think, to forcibly put things upon the main characters to do things instead of just like leaving that question of like, why don't you just default back to this person who's clearly knows more and is stronger than you and capable. I think it works itself out to be pretty awesome. And finally, Gigi would be like the main other character that we get introduced, and he's kind of okay. He's pretty underwhelming for me. I think his comedy is extremely hit or miss. He can work well, as we saw throughout this episode, I think, within group dynamics that work pretty nice, but there's a bunch of other things that I'm just not like too thrilled or big of a fan with him kind of being on screen. So it is what it is up to this point. We have to still see it, and this is his like arc still, as we have to kind of get him through the thing that like took things from him, and like there's a lot to still develop him. It's like forming an opinion on Aira like right away. Well, I still had a stronger feelings for her at the beginning of her introduction, even when she was like a terrible person, because I could see certain growth and patterns and things that likely were to occur. I don't know if I necessarily see all of that with Gigi, but there is potential for that to occur, especially with us having to go through this and resolve his own issues. So we'll have to hold out a little bit of hope going forward with him. I think the flow of each episode was really cool, just continuous, and it didn't really feel like we were skipping around much. It felt pretty easy to tell exactly when and where we were, what was going on. It didn't feel like there were things that occurred within the meantime of episodes like passing between each other that we missed, or they just skipped around throughout the episodes. Like everything just kind of felt like it progressed really, really nicely, which is awesome for me. I absolutely love when we can tell stories in that sort of direction. Let me see, what else do we have to say? The OPs and EDs are pretty good. The OP sequencing is fucking awesome. The coloring, the overall direction of it, the creativity involved in it is super, super awesome. It is very fluid. It's just everything I kind of love about it. Unpopular opinion of the year, I don't really love the song. I don't think it's like bad by any means, but I don't love it the same way I think everybody else was hyping it up to be at the beginning. It just it never connected with me on that sort of level, so a bit unfortunate. The ED sequencing is just chaotic and fun as well, so it's pretty cool, but the song is just okay once again for me. Overall, I don't know if I have much more to say, but big props to Science Saru for really bringing something like this to life. I can see it being extremely challenging for the type of series it is, and it didn't seem like they cut any corners regarding giving a lot of life and expressiveness to all the characters and a lot of the different scenes and environments, and I think that is stellar. So I'm thrilled overall. There's nothing for me to really complain about. It was a fun 12 weeks for us to be here, and I look forward very much to next July rolling back around so we can get started again and continue on with this journey and get out of here from the cliffhanger that we have found ourselves at. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you very much to anybody who has joined us up to this journey, whether you're new or old from the channel, leaving any comments or anything. Really do appreciate that and the interaction that we get overall. Hopefully you stick around for something else here in the future. We got Blue Box still going on. I'm going to finish Madoka Magica very soon here. We got Dragon Maid continuing, bunch of old series you can check out too. And we're probably going to start a couple new things, especially with the winter coming around. So give recommendations if you got anything. I got a couple things on my radar of what we're probably going to do. But any other recommendations of things you'd like to see in the winter, we can definitely maybe check out, as well as other things that you might just want to see in general with these other series being completely wrapped up. So once again, thank you very much. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you like it all, like and subscribe. Do not feel free to check out the videos and channel and comments of this sort of series. I will be back for the 13th episode and the first episode of season 2 in July. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, hopefully see you then. You guys have a good one. Peace.